All right, welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about training as I do a bit of meal prep here. I'm cooking up some chicken tenderloins. They are a little bit more expensive, but I feel like they're one, a little bit more delicious because we can get more seasoning on the surface area there. Two, very easy to cook. And because of that, I'm gonna choose a tenderloin over a thick chicken breast where I'd have to slice and dice. So as far as training goes, we are prepping for a street lifting competition November 22nd. Max dips, max chin-ups. My chins have been going well. I was able to hit a 205 chin-up, not to competition standard, but for me, I would still count it as like, hey, listen, I can chin 205 pounds. So I'm very happy about that. To competition standard, I would have to take away the kind of stretch reflex I get at the beginning of the chin. So I'm down here, I kind of do like a double dip and then pull. You're not allowed to do so in competition. I can have my feet up on the plates. That has helped me a ton. Last street lifting competition I did, I tried to have my legs straight like most people do, but I was still getting like this little kick out of my leg, and because of that, I would get like red lighted or red flag. They have flags. So putting my feet up onto the plates have helped a lot. Dips wise, I just dipped 275 for 3. The last rep was to competition depth. The other two were to about parallel. So for me, I'm pretty happy with that as well. The strength is there. Now, because there's such an emphasis on my upper body movements, we're putting less emphasis on lower body. We are still, of course, still doing them, but the exercises are not necessarily as, they're not my standard squat, standard deadlift, if that makes sense. So typically, I would squat with a low bar, with knee sleeves on, with a belt on, but because the focus is now on my chin-ups and my dips, I'm doing sleeveless belts, the high bar squat. The past couple weeks I've been using a closer stance. I can still train with hard weights. I can still kind of grind and push the intensity of the weight, but the weights are not so much where I'm really burning out my CNS and creating a ton of fatigue for my upper body. That's going to be one aspect of it. And the second aspect of it is I'm also really too lazy to put knee sleeves on. Knee sleeves will give me an extra 20, 30 pounds, I believe. And I haven't really tested it though, to be fair. Maybe more. I haven't put the knee sleeves on because I'm too lazy to do so. I don't love the feeling. I don't like the sweaty feeling and everything like that. So if I don't have to do it in my training, I'm not going to do it. And the last reason is because I actually want to build the strength of my knees. You guys might know this, but for those who don't, I've had pretty bad patella tendonitis in my right knee for a very long time in the past. And over the past like year and a half, 2 years, it's gotten better and better and better. I've slowly been able to do more and more things. It used to be very painful. Then it wasn't painful when I had knee sleeves on. Then it wasn't painful if I had like straps on my knees. And now it's not painful having no knee sleeves on, no straps, bare knee. So I'm very happy with it. All right, let's throw these some chicken on. Little Cajun seasoning on there. I feel like my grill gets hot enough where I don't need to oil it beforehand. It's so damn hot. Might be probably the best idea, but I also don't have spray oil to do so. Throw these on bare. This grill gets really, really hot, so I probably will flip them about like 3-ish minutes. And how will I be able to tell with no watch? Vibes. I'll be able to tell by vibes. I've been working with a nutritionist, Nice Nutrition, JD or J Dalton Nice on Instagram. Really awesome guy. A bodybuilder at my gym uses him. And I don't need help with training. I don't do any You know, I'm natural, so I don't need any super sub helps, but I did want some help with my nutrition. And this is a local guy. I knew someone who's working with him personally, and sometimes, honestly, those are the best people. You know, there are, like my strength coach, he lives in Texas. He's the best strength coach around. So it works well for me. But someone who's not as informed with nutrition and doesn't know all that much, sometimes working with someone who is locally known or is, maybe even you could say locally trusted, might be the best move for that. Because, you know, I'm not too complex. I'm a natural strength athlete. What I do is not all that complex. I just need a little bit of help. I don't need to reach out to the guy who's at the stage I'm at right now, what I'm interested in. I don't need to be reaching out to the guy who's working with the world's strongest men and stuff like that. Like, you know, someone like Stan Efferding. That's one thing. The second thing is, a lot of times your local strength coach or maybe a small YouTube channel like mine, they don't have as many people, so they can give you a little bit of extra attention to what you're doing. Some of those top level coaches, they're not bad, but the people who are seeking them are already at such an advanced level that, you know, they know a little bit, they know how to train, they know what programming is, but they need someone to just kind of help take care of them. If you're in a beginner or an intermediate level lifter, you still have so much to learn. We all have something to learn, but you still have so much to learn about strength training or nutrition or something like that. Again, support someone local. Support a smaller following account for these guys, because one, they're going to be able to give you a little bit more attention. Two, they actually might be the next best thing, honestly. And that's what I believe this. He's actually a registered dietitian is helping me with. I think he's great. He's very responsive and everything like that. So that's what I need. All right. I'm going to go inside and wash my hands here, and then we'll be back. All right, we're back. All right, we are back, and let's continue to talk a little bit more about training. Here's a couple things, two things. One, understand the exercises that you're performing, what the goal of those exercises are, okay? So if you are a strength athlete, strongman, powerlifting, street lifting, whatever it might be, understand which of those exercises are focused on getting you stronger. Now, how do we build strength? Obviously, we put on muscle mass, and we create more force with the muscle mass we put on. It's creating force in an efficient manner, okay? So when you bench press, if you're a powerlifter, you're going to try to have a high arch. We're going to use our leg drive. We're going to bring our shoulders down and back and really get in a very nice stable position, so then we can generate a ton of force off the chest in a very efficient way. So that's how we bench for powerlifting. Those are strength-based movements. We really need to focus on the technique, find leverages so we can move the most amount of weight in the most efficient manner. For other exercises, a lot of accessory exercises, a lot of isolation exercises, maybe if you're a powerlifter, this would also include a lot of your back exercises and things like that. Our goal is not actually necessarily to move the weight in the strongest possible manner. It is to put as much tension on the muscle and progress that muscle accordingly, all right? Does that mean that we don't want, that overload doesn't apply? Absolutely not. Overload still applies. We still want to look to increase our repetitions, our volume, our weight in said exercise, but we want to do it and use strict form to us what feels the best so we can progress. For instance, if I'm doing tricep skull crushers and I find a technique that really allows me to hit the tricep, and the next week I go up 5 pounds and I start to break away from that technique just to get more weight up. Yes, we're moving the weight more efficiently in order to accomplish our goal of moving the weight from point A to point B, but we're not necessarily really putting any more tension on that tricep muscle. And we're probably shifting a lot more tension to the joint, causing a little bit more systemic fatigue maybe, or at least local fatigue to the joints and things like that. For these bodybuilding movements, we want to make lightweight as hard as possible and then progress it from there, okay? When I'm doing my bicep curl, instead of like bring my elbows back like this, unless I'm competing in a strict curl competition, if I'm really focused on growing the bicep, I want to bring my elbow out in front of me a little bit so I can put more focus on the bicep, less on the fact of, this guy's not getting as hot as it usually is. Less, getting away with using less weight, but still progressing that movement like anything else. That's how you want to treat your quote-unquote bodybuilding movements. All right, flipping these puppies over. Like them a little crispy. So why am I talking about this? And does that mean that you have to kind of, take your accessories, like you're not pushing them as hard? No. Be a bodybuilder. Be someone like Jordan Peters. Be someone like Jordan Peters. Be someone like Dorian Yates. Be like a professional bodybuilder where you're still taking your accessories and treating them with intention. You're still pushing the accessories. But what you're not doing is sacrificing your technique to efficiently move the weight. It's important that you understand that, because all too often what I see lifters do is they're on one side of the extreme or the other side. They're either really sloppy with their technique and they're twisting all about, and the tension is not on the bicep curl, or like let's say biceps. The tension is not on the target muscle. On the flip side of that, they're way too wussy with their technique, and they're not really pushing the exercises. They're nowhere close. They're nowhere near failure and things like that. So you're not really giving you a good stimulus for muscle growth. Now, what you might say is like, hey, listen, dude, I've seen your dumbbell curls. You're a little bit sloppy with your technique, and I would say fair enough. But even when I'm doing my dumbbell curl and I'm twisting to the side, I'm leaning to the side, all of that tension, I feel all that tension on my bicep. And sometimes I'll mechanically change my technique to finish the rep through as I get close to failure, but it's controlled the entire time. It's almost like a mechanical drop set. Would I count that rep? No, not necessarily, because my technique, the standard of the technique has changed too much, okay? If you're looking at your program, or you're working with a coach and you're not putting that in perspective with what you're doing, you're leaving gains on the table. You're leaving gains on the table. You have to understand too that your bodybuilding movements shouldn't create a ton of systematic fatigue, shouldn't create a ton of CNS fatigue, okay? It's like these lifters who like refuse to do arms, or like, they kind of pussyfoot doing leg extensions and stuff like that. You're leaving gains on the table. If you push your leg extensions hard, in my experience, if I push my leg extensions hard because I'm used to going close to failure, after my squats, I'm not going to be so fatigued from the leg extensions that I'm not going to be able to hit my squats the next week. That's not the case. You can recover, and you can adapt to your ability to recover from fatigue. You don't have to RPE 6, 7 everything. You, especially with bodybuilding movements, you can bring it up RPE 8, 9, even 10 week after week, as long as the form is dialed in, technique looking good, and you know what you're doing, and you're not, you build up to that like you build up to anything. All right. I think I am running low on propane, and that is why typically this guy gets up to like 700 degrees, and now it's struggling to get up to 300. So I'm going to have to take a look here. That'll be the end of my video. Hope you guys enjoy. Please go visit tankstrengthcoaching.com. Send me an email, tankstrengthcoaching@gmail.com. If you guys are interested in training with me. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow along for my training videos, everything like that. Let's grow this puppy.